I'm dying slightly. I got a new microphone, by the way. This is the DJI Mini. Hopefully the sound quality is a lot better than it has been in the past. We're gonna see, we're gonna find out. Hopefully it's not too loud also, but we're gonna find out. I got a mic because my daughter is sleeping and the smallest sound, even though we have music playing for her, the smallest abnormal sound will wake her up. So I got a mic so that I could whisper, but you guys could still hear me and maybe it would not be so bad. I actually wanted to talk a lot about books. I know. I read a lot of books in October and then I read 5 more in November. I don't even remember how many books I read in October, to be honest with you. Let's find out. Statistics. So I read 10 books in October and then I read another 5 in November. So I read 15 books in 2 months, which is not too shabby, to be honest with you. I feel like in October, the baby was sleeping a lot because she was sick. Pretty much all October, she was just sick. And yeah, because of that, I was often nap trapped. And when I get nap trapped, there's really nothing else you can do. Like if you're a mom, you understand this. If you're not a mom, you don't understand this, because I didn't understand it until I was a mom. Or if you've like babysat or have like nieces and nephews that you've like watched, once you're nap trapped, you're not doing anything. You're stuck there for as long as they're napping. Say goodbye to the rest of your life. I just did a lot of reading and it worked out really well. Anyways, I do want to talk about the books, the 15 books that I read. I'm missing 2. What 2 am I missing? Oh, I think I didn't purchase 2 or maybe something like that. I don't know. Hold on. Wait 1 second. Okay, so 2 I don't have the physical copies of because 1 was an ARC that I got on ebook and then 1 was something that I listened to on audiobook. So let's just dive in. The first book that I read in October was actually Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber, and I was obsessed with this book when I was reading it. I believe it took me all of 2 days to read this, and it would have taken me just 1 day to read it if I had not started it at like 11 o'clock at night. I gave this, what did I give it? I gave it 5 stars. I gave this a 5-star book, and that honestly makes sense because I still think about this book. It is a like series. So this is book 1, I believe it's a series. I'm pretty positive it is not a standalone because where we left off, it didn't make sense for it to be a standalone. I do believe this is going to be a new series for her. It's an adult series. I really liked this series for many reasons. First of all, let me tell you what the Alchemy of Secrets is about. It is about this girl who is taking this class and her teacher kind of just like vanishes. She's like in the middle of a thesis paper and then some magical stuff starts happening. I'm trying not to give away too much because like there's so many things that could spoil this book, and I really loved it and I think it was fantastically done. This was such a good book. I highly recommend it. It was her adult series, but there's no smut, which I really enjoyed because I feel like a lot of times when authors are like, I'm gonna do an adult series, they are like, I'm just gonna do smut. And that was not the case with Stephanie Garber. Instead, she made it more adult. And she didn't make it adult with like a lot of curse words either. She did it with like actual adult problems. So yeah, I wish more authors would do adult writing like this instead of let me just make this as raunchy as possible, because that in my head is not adult. That's X-rated. I really like this book, so highly recommend. I think everybody should read it. I loved it. It was fantastic. I gave it 5 stars. I actually read Hillbilly Elegy, and by read, I mean I listened to this on audiobook. So technically I didn't read it, I consumed it. I do not believe that when you listen to audiobooks, you are reading the book, because you're not reading the book, you're consuming the book. And so I consumed this book on audiobook, and I loved it. It was really good. I cried a lot in this book. This is Hillbilly Elegy. It's a memoir of a family crisis and culture in a memoir of a family and culture in crisis by J.D. Vance, who is our current vice president. However, I will say that this is before he even like entered into politics. Like his introduction is, I'm a nobody. This book is not important, but it is important. And this book gave me a lot of insight into just like how some of my friends grew up. I have loved ones who came from families like this, and it just gave me a lot of insight as to how their childhood differed significantly from mine. And this made me cry so many times. It was really heartbreaking to see just like what drug addiction does to a family, and how the system just kind of fails for the children. And yeah, it was really heartbreaking, but also very uplifting, because like family was everything to them, and sticking together and getting through this together was everything. It was so important in their life. So there was a lot to be said about resilience in this book. And yeah, I thought it was fantastically done. I really liked it. I don't really truly rate nonfictions, because I feel like every nonfiction I read should just automatically be a 5-star. But I would highly, highly, highly recommend this book, especially if you are somebody who deals with drug addiction in your family, if your parents deal with drug addiction in their lives, if there's like depression, anything like that, and you just want to know how somebody else got out of it. Like, this is a great book for that. I really liked it. It was phenomenal. This next book, I gave a 1-star to The Last Tale of the Flower Bride. And let me tell you why. So one of my friends was like, how dare you? She said that this book was like a fever dream for her. Let me tell you something. Smut makes me uncomfortable. Like, physically uncomfortable. Like, I cringe, and then I get super red and blotchy, and I feel so uncomfortable. And here's the thing about reading. You don't have to be uncomfortable. You can just stop reading. And so when there was a scene in the very first chapter, I was like, this book is not for me. I also had started to listen to it on audiobook. So I'm in my car, my daughter's in the back seat, and I'm just like fast forwarding, being like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And I tried to sit down and physically read it, and I just could not do it. I just could not. My skin was like crawling. I felt icky. It was gross. So I just was like, you know what? If this is in the first chapter, I don't care about the rest. So I just went ahead and DNF'd. This will probably this will definitely end up on my PANGO at some point. Whenever I get around to uploading all of the books that I need to upload, this will find itself on there. So yeah, it wasn't for me though. If it was for you, that's great, because it was for one of my really good friends. She, again, like I said, loved this book, but it just was not for me. I read Accomplice to the Villain. This is the third book in the Assistant to the Villain series. I love the series. I love it so much. I've been having such a good time in this world. I read this book. It was so cute and whimsical and cozy and funny, and I just really liked it. I can't tell you what this book is about, because it's the third book in a series, and it will absolutely spoil everything. So I'm going to head and not tell you what this book is about, but I will say that it was fantastic, and I had a really good time reading it. If you haven't started the Assistant to the Villain series, it's about this girl. Her name's Evie. She starts working for the villain, and it's super funny. It's very grotesque in some areas where it's like dark humor, I should say. It's not grotesque, it's just dark humor. So if you're a fan of dark humor, I think you would really like this series. There is no smut, but I will say the spice level did get upped in this book. Like, there's more kissing, I should say. Like, there's a lot more kissing going on, but it is a clean series otherwise. Like, there's no like really bad scenes. So highly recommend the series. I gave this book 3 stars. I think the whole series is kind of like a 3.5 star for me, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that like it's something that I'm going to recommend to everybody, and it's something that I will probably think about, but I just don't see myself like rereading these anytime soon. If I did reread them, I would knock it up to a 4-star, but I just don't see myself like, I see myself thinking about it quite frequently. And I think if this was made into a TV show, this would be a comfort TV show for me. But I just can't see myself reading these words over and over again. If that makes sense? I don't know if that made sense, but it's definitely really good. A book that I read and should not have read, I should have just DNF'd this, was Wilder Girls. I gave this 2 stars, okay? Now, it was bad. It was so annoying. The whole book was very annoying. I just got really frustrated the whole time. It felt, how do I say this? Like, it felt like I just wasn't cool enough. Like, there were too many, like, inside coolness. I don't know how to explain this. I really don't. I really can't explain this. I don't know how to explain it. I'm trying so hard and I don't know how. Basically, in this book, there was like a lot of verbal abuse and a lot of people who were like, we're best friends. And then they'd like beat up each other. And then there's like these two girls start a romance. I'm so sorry, but if you are ever finding yourself in a romance, like these two girls were in a romance, please seek help. Like, please, so badly seek help. I do not think I will ever read Burn Our Bodies Down, which is another book that I have by this author, by Rory Power. I have her other book, Burn Our Bodies Down. I don't see myself reading it because of how poor the writing style is in this one. I just could not get into this. I read the whole thing because I was buddy reading with a friend of mine, and honestly, I just did not like it. It just was not for me, and I think that's okay. I think the writing style was very juvenile, but also pretentious, but also like, oh, okay, now I know how to explain this. It was like when you're in high school, but you're trying to pretend that you're in college. And so you're like trying to talk how you think people in college would speak, but that's not how they speak, but that's what you think that they're talking. That's what this book read like. Like, it just was bad. It was just really bad. It was just not good. So anyways, 2 stars. I read Killers of the Flower Moon. This is the other nonfiction book that I read. And I just feel like this could have been a Wikipedia page, to be honest with you. I don't feel like there was enough in there to make a whole book for 300 pages. That's my opinion. I think that what was in the story was so important and that everybody should be knowledgeable about what happened in this book. But the actual storyline, I don't know. I feel like, okay, also I was having an issue with this author who was trying to write this as if it was a fictional story, but a non-fictional fictional story. And it just did not work for me. For me, it didn't work. I felt as though there was a lot of embellishment on the author's end. And also, this is about the Osage murders and the birth of the FBI. Where in this book was the FBI? Like, where were they being birthed? Because it just seemed like the FBI got a file and like came out to help. It did not seem like this created, like the birth of the FBI feels like this murder had significance in creating the FBI task force. It did not. It really did not. So I'm just very confused in general. I'm just very confused by a lot of the things that happened in this book, but mostly why it was written in the way that it was written. It just didn't feel like it should have been. I don't know. We could have done more like interviews, I guess, but it just felt very strange. So wasn't a big fan of this one. Again, it's nonfiction. I don't like to rate nonfiction. Sometimes I will, like in certain apps that I use, like for instance, I have like an app called the Reading List. So I will rate it in there just so that it's organized for me. And in the app, I gave it a 3-star, but in reality, I just wouldn't have rated it because it's a nonfiction and I don't like to rate nonfiction, but definitely was not my favorite. Okay, good. Moving on. The next book that I read, actually I listened to, I consumed this book, was Fantastic Land. I listened to it as an audiobook. I can't remember where I listened to it, but I think I listened to it on Everend. Anyways, I listened to Fantastic Land and that book was awful. I gave it 2 stars. It was so hard and difficult to get through. First of all, the entire premise is that a bunch of teenagers got stuck in a like Six Flags, like Disney World, like that kind of like amusement park type of thing. So they are part of the amusement park called Fantastic Land, and there's like a hurricane that happens in Florida and everyone drops the ball. Like every single person that had a ball at one point dropped it. These teenagers didn't have Facebook or Instagram. So they just started to kill each other. That's what happened. They didn't have the internet for 2 hours. So they started to kill each other. Now I know what you're saying. This book took place over weeks. Like, it wasn't just 2 hours. They started to execute one another after 2 hours of no internet access. I need you to process that however you want to process that, but that's what happened. So I don't know. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? They didn't have Facebook, so what? Why did that make sense to you, author? Why? I feel like this person had to have been a boomer when they wrote this. Like, I feel like they have to be of the boomer generation, because are you joking? Especially in the time where so many people are like rejecting social media in general. You're telling me no. I just refuse to accept this. I refuse. Anyways, it was not a good book. I did not like it at all. I read it for a different book club that I was in, or still am in, but I read it for a different book club. It was what it was. I read The Academy. Now, I read this. It's by Ellen Hildebrand, but it's also written with her daughter. And quite frankly, I would like Ellen to point out the parts that she actually wrote, because I don't believe that she wrote a single page of this. I believe that her daughter was like, I want to be an author, but nobody knows me. Will you just put your name on the book? And I say this because it was so bad. It was not good at all. It was like if Euphoria and Gossip Girl and Gilmore Girls and every single CW show just like combined itself together. Like, genuinely, what are we doing with this? And the worst part is it's a series. It's supposed to be book 1 in a series. I will not be continuing this by any means. I could not do this. It's about, what is it even about? Okay, so they're at this boarding school. This new girl shows up. I don't know who this person is on the cover, because I could not tell you who this person is, because our new girl has brown hair. There's a girl who's from the UK, but her family is Indian. Are they Indian? I don't remember, but I know what they're not. They're not white. They're not white with blonde hair. I have no idea who is on the cover. And yeah, it just, I don't know. This book, not good at all by any means. And it's so sad because I really like Ellen Hildebrand. Tiffin Academy. Oh, also, why were we going from high school students to 40-year-old lesbians having issues in their relationship? Like, what are we doing? There was no focal point. There was no concept. It was just going all around. Some characters just had literally one point of view, like one time in the whole story. Didn't add to the story, didn't move anything forward, just was like, boom, here's a random janitor's POV. It was so dumb, guys. I'm so confused. What are we doing? Why was this? How? Somebody needed to edit this better is what needed to happen, because I don't know. I gave it 2 stars. I went on a whole rant on Goodreads. So if you really want to look at my rant, you can go on Goodreads and like read that. But I just was not a fan of any part of this, like at all. I didn't like the writing style even, which is why I don't think Ellen wrote this at all, because it's a completely different writing style. I don't know. Maybe that's me. Maybe I just refuse to believe that she could write something like that. I also read Main Characters, guys. I gave this 2.5 stars. This is how you write drama. Okay. I did not agree with everything that the characters did. I thought that a lot of the things that they did, I was like, that is just morally evil. But I really liked the overallness of this book. It's about 2 sisters who don't know that they're sisters, and they also don't know like who got cheated on. Like, they're trying to kind of like figure that out. Like, the one sister is like, my dad obviously had an affair on my mom. And she's like, or, and hear me out. But he passed away. And so these sisters are like sharing his lake house, because one sister was going every July and the other sister goes in August. And yeah, it's wild. guys, it's wild. It's so good though. I really liked it. Very good book. It was so much about like family drama, family healing, but mostly family drama. And I loved it. I loved every second of this book. It was so good. Why did I give it 2.5 stars, you say? Well, you'd have to read it, but like there's like certain parts in this book that I was like, I have so many questions for you. So many questions. But yeah. Anyways, it was really good though. I do think that if you're looking for something better than the Academy, look no further than Main Characters. It was so cute. This is the last book that I read in October, and then we'll move on to November. But I read Hidden Nature by Nora Roberts. This book was so difficult to get through that I just didn't. I gave it 1 star. It's about this cop who was shot. This happens in the very first chapter, so I'm not spoiling anything. So she gets shot, she dies, and on the table. And then they bring her back, and she's recovering at home at her parents' house. And her parents own this like ski resort thingy place, chateau stuff thing. Place. I don't know. They have a family business. So she's recovering over there. Meanwhile, there's these like 2 hot neighbors who also move in. They're brothers. And they start like a fix problem construction worker people job thing. And obviously there's like romance happening, but on the side there's like a murder mystery. And here's what I had major issues with. 1, this book took way too long to get to the point, like way too long to get to the actual point of the story. And second of all, I'm so confused, because does this look like a romance book to you? Because it was. The murder mystery was like a subplot, okay? This makes me think that the murder mystery is the main plot, the main focus, and the romance is like a subplot. No, you'd be wrong. You would be wrong, okay? It was a romance book with a subplot of a murder mystery. So don't get confused if you pick this up. Was it? I don't know. I didn't really have a good time. I didn't have a good time. I didn't read it. So there you go. I read some of it. I just didn't finish it. That's all the books that I read in October. Let's go into November. So in November, I read an ARC. Again, I don't have the physical book because I read it on an ebook, but it was called, what was it called? Easy as Christmas Pie. So I read this book called Easy as Christmas Pie. It is a clean romance book, and I had so many issues with it. I gave it 2 stars. I had a lot of issues with it. I wrote a long post on Goodreads. Again, you can go look at that. But my main issues was it felt like there just was no editing at all in this book. And that was my main issue, is that it just felt like we decided to forego any and all editing. Another issue that I had with this book was there was so much happening without really an explanation for it. Like, it just like, she just kind of like told you why something happened, but didn't explain like why it happened in the first place. Like, I don't want to like give anything away, but I guess I can tell you there's the town that they're in North Carolina, it's like a beach town. The girl basically, in the very first chapter, she loses her job and her boyfriend, and she flies home to North Carolina with her tail between her legs, is like kind of forced to put together this Christmas event for her town. Like, her grandmother just kind of like diabolically is like, she's got time. Okay, Gram. And so, yeah, so she just kind of like puts this thing together and whatever, it happens. And then she has to like figure out how to make this pie with this other guy. And it's his grandmother's recipe, but she didn't tell anybody the recipe. And so they're just trying to figure it out. She has, by the way, no experience with baking. It's not like she's like a lover of baking goods. Like, she's an event planner. Like, she likes to plan events. And then they're just like, you can figure out how to make this pie, right? Like, it's so random. One of the things that I really struggled with in this book is that it's trying to be Stars Hollow from Gilmore Girls. Like, it was trying so hard. And it was like, that's Coffee Pete, and that's like whatever. And it's like, oh, why does this person have that whimsical name? Oh, because they just drink coffee. Okay. I don't know. I don't know, guys. It just felt like it needed an editor, and it also needed somebody to go in there and add some stuff to it. So I had some issues with that one. I gave it 2 stars. I don't know. It's out, in case you were wondering. In case you're like, I want to read this book. It is out. It is like a very short novella type of thing. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead. It will not hurt my feelings for you to read it. The next book that I read in November was actually Dark Matter. I loved it. I loved this book. I loved it. I gave it 3.5 stars, 3.75 stars, I think, actually, if I'm not mistaken. I would even dare say go with a 4-star. It was so good. I really loved this. This completely took me by surprise. I was not expecting everything that happened in here. It was very pleasantly different. This is about a guy who... How do I explain this? So there's this teacher, and he wakes up in an alternate universe because his evil self in an alternate universe like switch places with him, and he has to figure out how to get back to his universe. And it's like side like romance book, but like sci-fi, but like a romance book, but sci-fi. It's like half and half, to be honest with you. And yeah, it's like a love conquers all. This is so romantic. This whole book was so romantic. He like really just wants to get back to his wife and child, and a lot of things happen, like a lot of things happen, and highly recommend this one if you're interested in trying a sci-fi but you're not sure. This is great to like start off with because it's not too heavy sci-fi, but like also like you're still getting that. Do you know what I mean? Definitely there's a lot of things that I wish we had explored more, which is why I think that this should not have been a standalone. I think this should have been a series or just like a longer book. I don't know. Not a longer book, definitely a series. Because there's so many plot lines in here that we just kind of dropped and pretended got a happy ending or something. I don't know. I wish we got more. Like, I wish we got more in the other worlds. I wish we got more from the other characters. I would love to know what happens to the other people. If you know what I know, you know, if you know, you know. I would love to know what happened to them. This was good. This was good. I liked it. It was very twisty. I mean, like, my heart was racing at one point because I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way this guy is making it. Like, I realize he's the main character, but there's no way he's making it. Like, I truly, at the end, was convinced that I cannot spoil this book, but I was convinced. And if you know, you know. But I was like, how do we know? We don't know. He doesn't even know. So we don't know. Anyways, I read Dark Matter. It was really good. I highly recommend it. I think everybody should read it. The next book that I read was Falling Like Leaves. It was actually my book club book for November. This was so cute. It was perfect. It was everything that I wanted, everything that I needed. I gave it 3 stars. This book was about a girl. Her mom and dad are separating, and he's like, hey, mom and dad, the mom was like, hey, dad and I are separating, and I'm taking you to this little town called Stars Hollow. It's not called Stars Hollow, but it's like basically Stars Hollow. And she was like, I'm taking you to this town, and we're going to live with my sister because we're the Gilmore Girls. And, yeah, you're going to start at this high school. By the way, she's a senior getting ready to go to college, and her mom's just casually like, yeah, by the way, I'm like screwing up all of your senior plans. So she goes, and then there's this guy, his name's Connor, and she has him in her phone as like Summer Connor because they had this like one summer so long ago that she like really adored this boy, and he hates her, and she's trying to figure out why. And it's cute. It's just like a cute little fun teen romance, you know, type of thing. This was a clean book, no smut, no spice. I think there was hand holding and like kissing, but yeah, it's not like a full makeout session. I will say that there was cursing in this book, and it often threw me off because you'd have like 50 pages of not a single cuss word, and then all of a sudden an F-bomb is being dropped, and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Where did this come from? Like, what are we doing? It's 300 pages. Like, what? Where is this? Oh no, it's not even 300 pages, is it? I don't know. Is it? Oh, it is. It's over 300 pages. But still, it was like so random. Like very random. It felt like the author was like, oh yeah, they curse. Let me just throw that in there. I don't know. It was very strange. Definitely recommend though, if you're looking for something that's just like cozy and fun. I realize it's not fall anymore, but maybe pick it up for next year's fall festivities. I would definitely recommend this. It was cute. It was fun. I liked it. The other book that I read that was very fall, very Gilmore's, very 90s. Do you know what I'm talking about? If it makes you happy. I read this. What did I rate this book? I think I don't know what I rated it. Hold on. Face ID. Okay, I rated it 2 stars. I gave this book 2 stars. Listen to me before you go off. Once again, I do not like smut. It makes me very uncomfortable, like very, very, very uncomfortable. I am grateful that it took 70%. I almost was like, maybe people are wrong. Maybe there is no smut in this. Maybe the author lied to us in the very first page when she says it's very descriptive. I was fully ready to be delusional. This is a 500-page romance book. It's not that serious. It's not that deep. It did not need to be this long. Like, there were so many things that could have been cut out. I'm not even saying like it was like, some people were like, I like the boring stuff. I'm not talking about the boring stuff. I'm not talking about the day-to-day stuff where she's like making, what was she making? Biscuits or something like that. And they're like horrible and he's teaching her how to bake. I'm not talking about that. I'm not even talking about like the cute, quirky stuff. I'm talking like there were so many side plots. We didn't need these many side plots. Like, what is going on? I feel like we didn't need all of this. It was 500 pages of side quests is what it was. So yeah, did I like it? It was good. It was good. I just found myself really bored several times, especially when we were going on a side quest with another character. Like, it wasn't even that it was another character's point of view, but like our main character was talking about somebody else's side quest. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to know about them. I would like to know what's going on with you and the hot baker guy, single guy, whatever. And yeah. So anyways, basically what the story is about is this girl, her mom dies from heart failure. I think she had a heart attack, or maybe she had cancer. I can't remember. She dies. And he is like the neighbor person, but she had to take over her mom's inn because her sister was supposed to take over it. However, her sister is finishing college, so she's like, I'm gonna take over it for right now, and then when you finish college, you come and take over. So then this guy lives next door to the inn, and he's like, hey, I used to help your mom out. And she's like, I don't want your help. You're too attractive. I don't think so. I'm not into this. And he was like, I love a girl with spice. I'm not joking. He literally is like, she doesn't like me. I really like her. It's like, okay, guys. All right, we really know about boundaries. Which, by the way, he had no boundaries whatsoever. He's constantly touching her, and she's like, stop touching me. And he's like, negative ghostwriter. It was a lot. It was a whole lot. More things happen. It's a romance book. You kind of know what the ending is, but obviously with like this picture on the cover, you can kind of tell. Oh, the dog was my favorite character, hands down. More from this dog. I know I just said I don't like the side characters, but the dog was not a side character. The dog was his own character. He really was what made this book. That's all. The last book that I read was Afterlife. I gave this book 3 stars. This is a teen book. It's very short. I literally read it in one day. It's so short. I think it took me like maybe even 5 hours to go through it. It was not long at all. This book is about a girl. She passes away. I don't know what is with me reading all these books with people dying, but here we are. This girl dies. I'm sorry. She dies. And she comes back, kind of, question mark? A little bit, question mark? I don't know. And so anyways, her mom's like freaking out, having like a whole existential crisis. Her dad is like, hallelujah, she's back. This is a miracle. I'm going to church now. And then her sister is like, I'm gay. And that, quite literally, those are the reactions. And so this story, I really couldn't tell you what the story is about, but I'm pretty sure what it was trying to be about was about family reconciliation and like living life in the moment and being happy. There's like this quote that they kept bringing up from, oh my gosh, who wrote the quote? I forget. You know what? I'm not going to find this quote, and I don't care enough, but it was basically like, I think that's what the whole book was trying to be about, was how like one person had to die in order for like the whole family to like start living and like live to the fullest and all this stuff. Not just like that family, but like the trickle effect, because it was also like her teacher found love and her ex did not. Her awful friend did not. I don't know. It was a lot. It was going on. There was so much going on. And yeah, this, yeah, there's many, many, many points of views all over the timeline, like all over the place. So just beware of that. Do I recommend it? I kind of do, actually. It was not bad. Was it good? No, it was not good, but it wasn't bad either. I did have a good time. I snuck this in, I think like the last day of November. I just was like, I want to read something, and was like, oh, I can read this. This is good. So that's all 15 books that I read in October and November. Thank you so much for watching. This was kind of a long one. I'm going to make a bunch of videos actually today. So I will make a December TBR. No, I didn't write anything. I bought several books. So I would love to do a little book haul. And yeah, I have stuff to talk about, but I just don't have time in this video. Otherwise it would be like 3 hours long. Who's watching that? Not me. So yeah, that's all for this one. I will see you in the next one though. Have a great, lovely Christmas. This is not Bookmas, but if it was, I would have so much content for it. Okay, bye.